Hey guys, I had been having that issue with my brakes that Ben had helped me look into in the first video there a couple weeks ago. And unfortunately it hasn't really gotten any better since then, so I'm now moving on to, I'm gonna try replacing the front driver's side rotor and hope that does the trick. So we're gonna do that today, and stay tuned and we'll see what happens. First stop was Princess Auto, where I grabbed some tools I needed and actually found this phone holder thing I'm using to record these time lapses. After I found it, I actually went back and drove up to the store again just to get that footage. Then I went to Canadian Tire across the street and grabbed a wire brush I'd be using on the wheel hub. Then I drove across town. I had another stop to make. I had to bring a book back to the library, and I saw that they had one I wanted to take out at the Forest Blade location. So I went and picked that up. It's called Upgrade. It's by Blake Crouch. I really liked Dark Matter and Recursion, which were also by him. So I'm excited to give this one a go. And it's a nice little library branch in a nice little part of town. There's the book there. And there's a lot of baseball action going on, some kind of tournament or something, a lot of buzz. My next stop was one of my favorite stores, Canadian Auto Stores. It's called on Ottawa Street. They always have whatever auto parts you need and supplies, very helpful, always for a good price. After that, I knew I was going to have a busy day, so my last stop was Krusty's Pizza, where I grabbed a slice, and you can see it here. And yeah, it's really good. Nice quick meal. Always make sure you order it dirty from them. When you work on your brakes, you're going to want to make sure you take this cap off the main brake fluid reservoir. Otherwise, pressure can kind of build up in there, and you want to be able to let it release. Obviously, when I took mine off, that gaskety part got stuck, and then as I go to grab it, I drop it down into the engine bay, and luckily I was able to reach it. And I probably should be wearing gloves, and luckily nothing. You want to make sure things aren't too hot in there before you go sticking your hands around. Hey Steve, how's it going, man?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Good, nice day, eh?
Isn't it?
Just kind of a quick sort of montage here of some of the work involved in actually, taking apart the calipers and taking out the brake pads and everything. I want the focus of this video to more so be just the sort of the journey of the investigation and diagnosis, and hopefully the ultimate resolution of the noise that I had been experiencing that was referred to in the first video. I'll actually put a couple links in the description to a couple videos that I was referring to that have a better detailed explanation of the step-by-step of when you're doing this kind of work in first generation cruises. So here I'm just taking out the T30 screw, which holds the rotor into the wheel hub, and once I take that out, you can see me take the old rotor off, and underneath there is that wheel hub. You can see how rusty it's gotten, and I'm just using a very, very fine steel wool to take off all that surface rust. And then I get in there with that wire brush I had purchased earlier, and that just sort of fits right in the chuck of my impact driver. And then that really gets in there deeper and really helps to, polish it off and get it a lot cleaner. So you can now see how much cleaner that wheel hub is there, how much of the rust is gone. And I'm just applying a light coating of a copper anti-seize. And you want to be doing what you can to not get it on the threaded studs there, which which I did, and then I'm just using that wire brush again to see if I can sort of clean those up. Now here I'm just unboxing what's the new rotor I had picked up this morning, and everything's looking good, and it's looking shiny, and it's looking smooth and clean. So I'm just getting that one ready to mount there. So bad news. This is the one that I picked up this morning. I just tried putting it back on. Wouldn't fit. This is the one I took off. These are absolutely not the same part. And it's now 4:30 on Saturday. I'm pretty sure they closed at 4. I don't know if they're open tomorrow. Monday is the civic holiday. I think I saw a sign on the door saying they're open then, but so in worst case scenario, I'll get it in there and exchange it then. It looks like for now I'm gonna be putting this one back on. Yeah, we'll see what happens. Stay tuned. Okay, so we got the old one back on there. I'll drive that around until Monday and then see what happens. When I can get the right one. Who knows, maybe some of the work we did re-lubricating a lot of the components in there and getting a lot of that rust off might help with the problem too. But I think what's ultimately going to be the most important lesson from this video is double checking your parts before you do all the work. So you can see it looks like what I should have been installing today was this BR55185, and what I had actually picked up was BR55184. But hey, mistakes happen, so we'll get it figured out soon, and yeah, stay tuned. So I went out this morning to the store. Oh wow, are you kidding me? There's a horse and carriage out there. No way, that's crazy. I hope that's on the video. They're going through the park. Wow, I've never seen that there. I went and swapped the rotor for the right sized one. They had it in stock. I went home and then I started that is amazing. I'm sure you can hear the sound. It's really bad today. I swapped it for the right one. Went home. I can't focus anymore. And then I was just I was thinking about what tests I could do to determine whether it's for sure the rotor that's warped, or what if it's the hub or the housing that it sits on that's warped. In which case, replacing the rotor would do nothing. Because before I do all that work again for a second time, I want to make sure that it's actually going to solve the problem. So upon doing more and more research and more digging, I'm starting to think that the problem might actually be more of a suspension problem, which makes sense with when you hear with what it sounds like. More of a suspension problem than a brake problem. And I think it might be related to that disconnected sway bar that Ben and I looked at in the first video. Now that's been disconnected for honestly a number of years. It was just never, I never thought it was a critical repair, so I always just kind of left it. So I don't know what would have caused it to start making this noise now, as opposed to all that time ago. But a few things I've seen and read today definitely have me thinking that might be the case. So I'm gonna go back to the store now. Hopefully they have the sway bar that I need to do that, to replace that. I think that's actually an easier job than the brakes from what I've seen. So, and it looks like the part might only be like 25 or 30 bucks or something. So, and I should do it anyways, just in the interest of, having a properly put together car here. So I'm gonna go do that now. Hopefully I find it, and I'll go home and replace that in a little bit. So there we see another guy living the cruise life, a very common sight in car parts store parking lots. I like to think of that not as a sign of a poorly built car, but rather one that has, affordable and accessible parts for DIYers such as myself to take care of and maintain their investment. So they actually didn't have the part that I needed though, but being the good store that they are, the helpful gentleman suggested that I could try Part Source today too if I wanted to, work on it today, not have to wait for them to order it in. So here I am just driving to Part Source, and luckily they did have the one that I needed, and you can see that right here. Okay, so this right here is the sway bar link that's gonna have to be replaced. So you can see before it was this soft plasticky material, so it's easy to see how it would have failed. So I think essentially, it kind of slots in right up here, and then again down there. In this bar here, there's like a hole, and you can see the nut, and it's threaded through right there. But there's a hole there too. And then this is the new one. So you can see how it'll just slot through at the top and then at the bottom and tighten through with those nuts. And this one you can see is made out of metal too. So hopefully it'll be a lot better and more durable in the long run. I started with the nut and bolt at the top, and it was super stubborn, very fused on there. So you can see I started by just kind of hitting it with the WD-40. I tried everything. I got in there with, the wrench, and I was using the torque screw to hold it, and I was using vice strips and the breaker bar and just any combination of whatever to sort of get it loose. And then I finally did. There you can see the nut. And then I pull out the, there's the bolt. It's now maybe like an hour later. I've barely got this thing to budge. It's a little looser. I've tried everything. I can't get this nut loose. I can't get any leverage to, use the breaker bar or any sort of, my wrenches keep slipping off it and stuff like that. I might need to grind it or something. I don't know. So I'm just out picking up dinner now, and I'm noticing more even just as I drive over bumpy roads and such. Not as loud as when I'm braking, but maybe I can hear that same sort of, it's so bad right now, but that same creaking sound. So that's sort of, further supporting my case that this might be more of a suspension issue than a braking issue. And something about the act of braking just sort of exacerbates it. Yeah, so we'll see. But also, I'll give you a pro tip right now. I love Osmos. I love chicken on the rocks. I always get the large chicken on the rocks. It's a lot of food. I used to always get the large, and I would get 2 meals out of it. The new thing I've been doing, a new hack, is to get 3 meals out of it. And by doing that, I also grab some really good fresh pitas, and I get these from Yasmin Bakery, and they're really good, and they complement the chicken on the rocks, very well. Same Mediterranean, Lebanese kind of flair, and so by doing that, you have like the one pita with each of the 3 meals. It sort of, adds a bit of substance to that, and you get 3 meals out of the thing instead of 2 for only just like a couple bucks more. Like, not even for just the 3 pitas, it's probably not even like 50 cents or whatever. So give it a try. Just further thinking that what I could be hearing worse tonight, as I mentioned on the bumpy roads or whatever, could also be that I didn't get out the nut and bolt from the bottom mount part of the sway bar link. And I think they might be a little looser than they were, so those might be kind of jostling around, so that could be what that is. So here it's Monday now, and I think I'm just going to go ahead and post this video today. I'm honestly not sure when I'm going to get a chance to continue on with this project over the next couple of weeks, and I want to take one day to relax and enjoy myself over this beautiful long weekend here. I also just can't wait to post this, honestly, and it's getting long, and I need the storage space back on my phone from all these clips. So we'll figure out how to get that that sway bar link in there soon, and maybe take another look at the brakes and see where else we end up. But I'll post any updates in the chat or in the description, or who knows, maybe it'll end up becoming a trilogy. We'll see. Overall, the Cruz has been very good to me. I'm going on almost 10 years with it, and it's had the odd repair for sure, but all things considered, it's been a slam dunk of an investment, and it would definitely be nice to get it running smoothly again, at least for a little while longer, like it used to. Yeah, so that's all for now. Thanks for watching.